Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. Now, this week, quite a few things have been going on around Texans Nation. First things first, Jadeveon Clowney got his first Pro Bowl selection of his career. The third-year defensive end, we all know, has been struggling with injuries these first two seasons, but this year, he's really stepped it up. He's really stepped up his game, and part of the reason is because he's been healthy. They say the old cliche is the best ability is availability. So I think this year he's probably only missed like one or two games, but that's still an improvement compared to all the ones that he's missed so far within his 3 years. But I mean, not to dwell on the past or anything, because this season has been remarkable for him. He has 39 tackles, everything, all the major stats are career highs. 39 tackles, 5 sacks this season. So I'm too cheap to buy the Pro Football Focus to find his defensive end rankings, but definitely having a wonderful season this year, and it's pretty much helped our defense out as far as helping us keep the offense in the game and just propelling us and just being propelled to the number one defense in the league right now. So definitely congratulations to him. Now, speaking of keeping the offense in the game, so finally the coaching staff decides to bench Brock Osweiler in Sunday's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It came on the heels of Osweiler throwing his second interception in the game, which was pretty much his fault on that second one. The first one he threw to Will Fuller. Fuller tipped the pass a little bit as a drop. Some people say like he shouldn't have threw it that high. Some people say, Fuller should have caught the ball if it touches your hands. Whatever. Interception is an interception. You couldn't get it back. Second one, if I can remember very clearly, he just straight up threw the ball in the bad coverage. So obviously, Coach Bill O'Brien was frustrated. He sat him down, and it was like, yo, Tom Savage, this is your time. So Tom Savage came in there, balled out, threw over, 260 some yards, led us over a 12-point deficit, 20-8 to be exact, and we end up winning the game 21-20. So definitely big ups to Savage for winning that game and ultimately winning that job. The crazy thing about when Savage got into the game Sunday, and it's probably not even a big surprise that it happened, but when he got in, the entire stadium erupted. Like it was just something that you have not, like, if you've been watching the games this year, you've not heard the fans erupt the way they did. It was so crazy. It's very few sporting events I've seen this year where the fans have just broke out in like game-winning levels of cheers. But it's a testament to the frustrations that the fans have been feeling about Osweiler's performance, and just rightfully so. You pay your money, whether it's nosebleed, box seats, wherever, you still expect wins, and you still expect a quality product from all phases of the football team, offense, defense, and special teams. So definitely, it was something they were probably looking forward to. And to be honest with you, it was something I probably didn't expect that happened the way it happened. The one time that I've actually advocated for Savage to be to actually take Osweiler's place in the game, I believe it was around I believe it was the Green Bay game, and I remember saying that Osweiler just needs to sit down for like a series or two and just see what he's missing, But obviously, he sat down for more than a series, and so I think now, and big ups to O'Brien for even making that decision. Not only was it was a gutsy call because we're in the middle of a playoff race right now, and so our offense hasn't been performing as well, but you don't but you put your team at a risk when you're changing quarterbacks like that, when you change the offense like that. So definitely, I really want to see what Savage can do now that he has his job. Um, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a surprise that it's happened. You know, I mean, we've people have just been frustrated with it. And so a lot of these, yeah, so it's just been built up, and it's like finally when he got in, it's like this is relief. He's making plays. I mean, if you've seen some of the plays that he was making, in particular the passes to DeAndre Hopkins, you notice that Hopkins was catching a lot of passes that were kind of wide open, if you will, and a lot of the interceptions or bad throws that Osweiler made. A lot of them were to Hopkins, but they were always in like bad coverage and everything else. So you already see that Savage has a plus as far as decision making goes. Um, he spreads the ball around a lot. It was probably the first time in a long time I've seen the ball get to Fuller, get to Hopkins, get to the tight ends. Even though Fedora was out, they still got the ball to Ryan Griffin. Do a little screen passes or flat passes to our running backs. And you're just seeing our team just compete a little bit better. So it definitely gave the spark that gave the offense a spark that we needed. So big ups to Savage for that, for coming in, handling that. Big ups to O'Brien on making that call. And our fan base is on fire again. Like, just looking at the current playoff picture right now, we're number 4 in the playoff seedings, and that's partly because we have the division on lock right now, but we're actually tied in the division with Tennessee, and so like it's going to be a close race. Like more than likely, we're probably going to have to be playing Tennessee at Tennessee on the road for the division crown. So um, the city's ready, man. Like it's not no take a knee and hope we get a top 10 pick in the draft. No, it's like we want these playoffs. We want this championship. So, um, Savage, you're here, so it's time to get it. Um, with that being said, the city did not forget that they have a game on Christmas Eve this Saturday. Yeah, so the Cincinnati Bengals will be coming into town, and they don't really have a lot to play for. In fact, they don't have anything to play for other than their pride and probably the knock off playoff teams such as us. Andy Dalton's going to be in there. AJ Green, uh, he is expected to return this Saturday. So I believe he missed the last 4 games with a hamstring injury I was reading about today. So um, pretty much it's going to be an interesting game, but definitely is really going to be a very, very competitive game. And so really the key is going to be on Savage. And all eyes are going to be on Savage. What can Tom Savage do now that he has his job? How well has he prepared? Granted, granted the NFL week is a little bit shorter this week because of the Christmas holiday, and so the league isn't going to put like all those games isn't going to put all the games on Christmas. They're going to shove them all to Christmas Eve and just spread them out through Christmas Day and on Monday Night Football. But so granted, he has like 1 day shorter than the usual playoff preparation, but it's probably going to be the same way when the playoffs come around, being that the games are played on Saturday and Sunday. But at the same time, really the key is going to be on how well he has prepared this week, as well as how well he can perform. Watching the game on Sunday, he didn't really look as mobile as Brock Osweiler, and Osweiler really wasn't he didn't really have the mobile capabilities that was like part of his game plan. A lot of his stuff was just moving around the pocket just to escape passes. I mean, excuse me, escape the pass rush when he needed to. I wouldn't say it was like on the level of like an Aaron Rodgers of some sort, but it was just a sufficient amount. However, I didn't really see that with Savage. It seems like if the pocket broke down like 1 or 2 times, he really had a hard time just escaping the pocket or getting out. So he had to take a couple steps out and just throw the ball away, and that's fine. You live and fight another day, and with the defense that we have, that's cool. He can afford to make a couple of mistakes like that. So pretty much he's going to be the key to this game and how he performs and everything. His arm is crazy. Like, I've seen him, the most action I've seen him do is pretty much in the preseason. These last 2 years, he hasn't really done too much because he's either been on the bench or he's been hurt. But his arm is sick. So I was definitely loving the throws that he was making, especially the deep throws. And he was making them deep throws to Hopkins, which, I mean, we're really going to need going into the playoffs. But starting this Saturday, we Texans should already be in playoff mode. So one of the other key things in regard to Savage's performance, how his performance should be this weekend, that they cannot be afraid to test that secondary. The Bengals defense is, kind of middle of the roadish. There's nothing spectacular that they got going on right now. So definitely we have the weapons to take them out. On top of that, CJ Federowicz, if I got that right, he has been cleared for, he has been cleared of concussion protocol, so we will have him back as a pass weapon. So that's that's one more weapon than we had on Sunday for Savage to test out. As far as our defense goes, we'll have to force the mistakes by Andy Dalton. I mean, Andy Dalton's not an elite quarterback, but he's no scrub either. However, he is mistake prone. He will throw an interception. He will, throw a couple incomplete passes at the wrong time. It's probably part of the reason that the team is out of the playoffs at the moment. So definitely the defense will have to force mistakes by Dalton, create more turnovers. Definitely. I think we had, in the game on Sunday's game against Jacksonville, the only interception we had, I think, was like Jacksonville's last play. If we had a couple more turnovers, the game could have been our winning margin would have been a little bit more. But definitely the key to the defense taking over this game is going to be the defense forcing Andy Dalton to make mistakes, throw picks, fumble if you can, and stuff like that. But with that being said, just to reiterate, definitely Savage is going to be a huge part in this game, just how he controls the offense and what kind of throws he's making. And if we can do that, if we can get him to do that and perform, if we can get him to perform a little bit better than what he performed on Sunday, then we'll have this game wrapped up and possibly the division. But with that being said, I'm Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz. I holla.